Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to First Church of Religious Science. Welcome to our self-healing class. This class is part of a healing series inspired by the life-changing work of Louise Hay, in particular, the book, You Can Heal Your Life. Louise studied right here at our center, our church, under Dr. Raymond Charles Barker. If this is your first time with us, welcome. Welcome home, if you will. You're in the right place. Every week we gather, special things happen. We get together 3 times a week. Same Zoom links, by the way. Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we offer our Creative Living class hosted by Reverend James. Sunday mornings at 10:45 is our main lesson, which starts with a meditation at 10:45, followed by our lesson, which is approximately 11. And of course, Thursday evenings, right here, right now at 7 p.m. Again, the same links. So I'm grateful that you're here, whenever and however you're listening. I'm grateful that we're reaching people now all over the world through these wonderful classes. If our messages bless your life, we invite you to support our work. There's never any pressure. There's no charge. There are support options in the chat room and on our social media pages. So please do if you can, and if you can't, don't worry about it. We're really glad that you're with us. Today's lesson is entitled "Words Are All We Have," and the thing about words, they're really more than enough. So let's begin. Today, this afternoon, tonight, I want you to think of yourself as a builder. You the builder, you the architect, not with steel or stone, but think of yourself as a builder with language, because the way you talk to yourself when no one else is around, that's the thing that builds the walls you end up living within. Again, so your words are building blocks, and you're building walls, you're building a structure, and you wind up living within it. That internal dialogue that we speak about almost every week, that voice inside that narrates, it's the voice inside of you that narrates your worth, your past, your future. That voice is powerful. And if we don't learn how to guide it, it will run on autopilot. You've heard of old tapes, we have them. You heard of old fears, old judgments, all that stuff is running inside of us till we deal with it. So it's important to be honest with ourselves, and it's just as important to be brave, and brave enough to say something new about ourselves. Brave enough to say, okay, this isn't working, cancel, and replace it, and say something that's true. And even if it's small, even if the progress doesn't seem great, here's the miracle. You don't have to rebuild your life in one whole day. You don't have to do it this evening. You don't even have to rebuild your entire vocabulary. You just have to have the willingness to begin to speak something that's just a little bit more true about yourself. You have to have the willingness to speak about something that's a little bit more true than your fears. Something like, I'm now open. I'm open to peace. I'm open to love. I'm willing to love myself more. I'm willing to trade in the lesser ideas I hold for the greater and the more expansive ones. Or maybe I'm not broken. Maybe I'll think of myself as someone who is becoming, rather than labeling myself as deficient or wrong or something not good about myself. Because the truth about ourselves is, here's the thing, our biology is listening to what we say and what we think. Your body, responds to your stress, and it responds to your love, it responds to you. Your spirit is listening to you. Life itself is listening to you. You are one with the one. You are a co-creator. Life is listening to what you say and what you believe and what you think. So this evening, we begin once more listening, hopefully listening differently, and hopefully having the willingness to speak differently. So let's learn to say it like we mean it. That's our talk. Let's learn how to say it like we mean it, because when we change our words, we change our world. Again, when we change our words, we change our world. So let's take this even a little deeper. You're not just throwing words into the air when you speak. When you speak, you're giving instructions to your body. When you speak, you're giving instructions to your brain. You're giving instructions to your immune system, to the very cells of your being. Your biology, by the way, believes you. When you say, I can't handle this, your nervous system tightens, your blood pressure rises, your muscles brace. But if you say, I've been through hard things before, and I'm still here, I can handle this. If you can say that with confidence and you believe it, and I've been through hard things before, I'm still here, I can handle this. If you can say that with that kind of confidence and faith, your body is going to open up. Your breath slows, your chemistry shifts. Louise Hay knew this long ago. She saw how words could be medicine or poison. She taught people to speak gently to themselves, especially when they're dealing with struggle or illness. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, the founder of our teaching, put it this way. He said, we must consciously know that our word is the law unto the thing whereunto it is spoken. Now, we don't speak exactly like that anymore, but try to take it in. Ernest Holmes said, we must consciously know that our word is the law unto the thing whereunto it is spoken. In other words, what you speak into your life with feeling, with passion, what you speak into your life with belief, begins to organize itself in form. Deepak Chopra said the same thing in another way. He said, the universe has great organizing power. So understand what Holmes is saying and what he was saying, that we want to consciously know that our word is the law unto the thing whereunto it's spoken. What we speak into our life with feeling and belief begins to show up. It begins to organize itself and show up in our life. And this isn't just metaphysics anymore. Science is catching up to it as well. An author, Bruce Lipton, in The Biology of Belief, explains that our beliefs and our emotions communicated through words and images directly influence our health and our biology. He writes that cells don't just respond to chemical input, they respond to our perception, the way we see things. And what shapes perception more than language? Even trauma doctors, experts like Dr. Gabor Mate and Dr. Bessel van der Kolk teach that healing isn't just physical. Healing is also emotional, relational, and deeply internal. And that begins with how we talk to ourselves. And I remember a while ago a woman from our group who said, I've had pain in my body for years, and I always told myself I'm falling apart. Now just think about that. That's nothing you really want to be telling yourself because your body is listening to you. So she was saying again, I have had pain in my body for years, and I've always told myself I'm falling apart. So if you're doing any version of that, if that's your inner dialogue, you really want to stop. But one day, this lady caught herself and she said, I can find another way. Maybe I can think of myself as rebuilding myself. And she started every day saying, I'm rebuilding, I'm whole, I'm complete, I'm rebuilding. Whatever her affirmation was, I don't know if I have it exactly. She said she was slowly doing this with her affirmations, and her body began to respond. She commented, it's like my cells were just waiting for better instruction. So how many of us are like that? We're caught up in a story that circles around in our head like an old tape, and your cells are just waiting for better instruction. Well, that's the beauty of this teaching. Ernest Holmes said you have executive power. You get to decide. And once you're clear about it, you have to be very clear, and you accept what you're saying, and you take it to heart. With feeling and passion, you're doing your affirmations, you're doing your affirmative prayers. Your cells, your whole being is just waiting for the better idea, the better instruction. So let me try something new with you right where you are. You don't have to say anything out loud. Just silently say to yourself, I want you to notice the contrast. Say to yourself, I'm failing. I'm failing. I'm failing. Notice what happens in your body. Notice what that feels like. I'm failing. Now try it the other way. Say, I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm learning. So there's an excitement. Can you feel the shift? I'm learning. Can you feel it? One man in our class a while back said, every time I make a mistake, I call myself an idiot. Under my breath, just like a reflex. I'll say, you idiot, you idiot. Now, we've talked about that before. And this person came back and said, what if I said something different? Like, that's new for me. Instead, you see, that one phrase helped him break out of years of shame. I used to do something similar in traffic when I make a mistake. I would call myself a dumb something or another. And I realized one day that, Greg, this is just really not very smart of you. So when we find ourselves calling ourselves names or thinking of ourselves in those ways, we want to snap out of it. We want to change it around. Because the thing is, your body doesn't know when you're being sarcastic. It believes whatever you're repeating. So if you're repeating negative things, stop in the name of love. If you've been harsh with yourself, by the way, you're not alone, and you're not wrong necessarily. We've always done the best we could with what we knew and what we understood and the words that we had at the time. But we know more now, and we can try a new sound. We can try a new message, a new signal. We can have a different tone as well, because none of us are really stuck with the old script. We can understand how it happened. We can understand we're victims of victims. We can understand people have done the best they could with us. We can understand we've done the best ourselves with what we knew. But this is a new moment, and you can do it differently. You can do it more expansively. You can create a better life, a happier life, a life filled with, much better experiences. You can, in fact, speak a whole new path into existence, one word at a time. So tonight, now, we can try a new signal, a new inner tone. And listen, I know sometimes it feels like you're stuck with the old tape, because some of these things are ingrained for many, many years. You've been laying down these bricks for years, and it's very difficult sometimes to do it differently, because this way of thinking and this way of speaking, it's created the walls that seem to be around you. But here's the truth. Just because you built it doesn't mean you're really trapped inside of it. You're not stuck. You are the cause to your own experience. You're the builder. And if you built this room with words, this room that seems so terrible, you can start building something new with new words. You don't need to tear everything down all at once, but you can replace your thoughts, or you can replace your walls one brick at a time. One brick, then another, and another. You can say something like, I'm open, I'm receptive, I'm learning, or I choose to speak differently starting today. So let the first brick in you build a better room. And when you're talking to yourself, the next thing I want to say is talk with love. It's the reason Louise spent time doing mirror work, because having that inner conversation, that tone with yourself, will help heal. I want to talk a moment about one of Louise Hay's most well-known tools again, which is mirror work. Now, I know I've covered that recently in another class, but I'm going to bring it up only for a moment today for a reason. Because when done with sincerity, mirror work is magic. It isn't just a technique. It's a return to yourself. Most of us don't realize that we rarely look at ourselves in the eye in the mirror. Or when we do, it's probably with judgment. You might be saying you look tired, you don't look good, you're looking old. What's wrong with you today? I want you to think about speaking to ourselves in a different way. Because the way we do it ordinarily is we speak to ourselves in ways we would never speak to a friend. And the mirror, in case you don't know, just reflects back to you what you're saying to it. So Louise gave us an invitation. It was simple, but it was radical. She would say, stand in front of that mirror and say something kind to yourself. Look into your own eyes and say, I love you. I got you. I love you. So let's be honest with ourselves. Mirror work can be incredibly awkward at first. You might feel silly. You could feel emotional. You might resist it altogether. You might say it's stupid or it's not. But here's the thing, it's powerful. And here's why it works. When you say something loving, when you're looking directly into your eyes, you bypass the mask. You speak to the you behind the mask. You're speaking to that inner being, that inner child. You're speaking to your soul, the part of you that's been waiting to hear something true. So it's not just the words, it's the way you say the words, it's the tone. Your tone matters. You can say, I love you in a flat, sarcastic voice, and it won't land. Or you can soften your tone, you can connect with your image, your eyes, even just for a little, and suddenly your nervous system responds, your face softens, and your energy shifts, your spirit connects. You don't have to say 20 or 30 affirmations in the mirror. You can just try one. You can say, I love you, I like you, I'm beginning to like you. The affirmation we've used over the years is, I love, accept, and approve of you exactly as you are. That's perhaps difficult for people in the beginning, but just try. Look in the mirror and smile at yourself and say, I got you, I love you. And don't worry about being convincing, just work with having the willingness to connect with yourself, your image, the real you. Try that a little bit. You might say something like, I'm learning to like you. I'm learning to be kind to you. Or you might give yourself some encouragement in the mirror by saying, you're doing better than you think, or all is well. It could bring up a tear or two. It might cause you to laugh. It's kind of good when you have it, when the humor is working, because you're getting comfortable with yourself with these messages. Or you might feel nothing at first, and that's okay also. You're not doing this for an audience. What you're doing is you're building trust with yourself. And here's a beautiful secret. When your inner voice and your messaging become more loving, that's you with you, your outer world begins to reflect that shift that's going on within you. And it happens bit by bit. Tonight we're talking brick by brick. It's beautiful, beautiful to witness how words can heal and how quickly they will shift things around, how they can lift us, rewire our thinking, and create a new experience of life. But there's another side we need to face. It's referred to as our shadow side, and that's when the words that we use wound. We've been talking tonight about how powerful words are, and they are, and how they can build us up and shape our thinking and healing, and they can even change our chemistry. But we also have to speak the truth that words can also wound, and I think many of you already know that. Sometimes they can wound us for a moment, sometimes they can wound us for a long period of time. Many of us were raised in families that you could call loving. Some were less functional than others. We were raised in environments where language was used sometimes as a weapon. So we have been repeating these patterns. We internalize the voice of the critic, the bully, or the parent who never loved us the way we wanted, or never really saw us the way we needed. And now we don't need anyone else to put us down, because we've been doing it for ourselves and to ourselves. And that's the hard part. But here's the truth underneath all of it. If you learn to speak harshly to yourself over time, then you can definitely learn to speak to yourself in a different way. You can learn to speak to yourself with love. That critical voice is not your essence. It's not of truth. It's a pattern. And over time, it's become a defense. It's the way you operate. It's a dialogue, but it's not based on truth. It's a leftover echo from someone else's pain, and we can definitely let it go. So let's collectively take a breath right here. Breathe in, let your body be still. You could place a hand on your chest if you want. If it feels right, you might say softly right now, I release the need to believe any of that. I release the need to believe that voice, that critical voice. And you might also say, I forgive myself for carrying those words for so long. And you don't need to feel fully healed right now. You just have to be open enough for healing to happen. Because what once wounded you doesn't have to anymore. It doesn't have to define you. You can lessen it. You can soften it. You can begin to erase it. You get to choose new words. You get to speak a new life. You have the power to do that. And it begins perhaps with one idea at a time, one kind phrase spoken on purpose, one affirmation that you connect with. One of the most powerful tools Louise taught was the mirror exercise. And that's, again, I already explained it a little bit, speaking directly to yourself in the mirror with love. Sometimes that shift starts in front of the mirror. I shared a story a few weeks ago, but it's a real story. It happened many years ago. I was leading a Louise Hay group, and I had a woman who came in who reminded many of us in the group of Cindy Crawford. In fact, we wondered if it was who she was in the beginning, because she was so beautiful, undeniably so, and she couldn't hold a mirror up to her face. It brought up way too much for her. And eventually, after many weeks' work, she was able to look into the mirror and say, I'm beginning to like you. And that was a lesson for all of us that day. And I brought the story up again tonight, not to repeat it, but just to remind us, we never really know what other people are carrying inside, right? You might think, oh my God, this person has it all together. And mirror work, real mirror work, isn't about being superficial. It's about looking into your face, looking into the face, the real you who's always been there. It's about looking at yourself and finally saying to yourself, I got you. I love you. I got you. No matter what, I'm here for you. Now, I've worked with many groups over the years, mirrors in front of everybody, every kind of group, including women who were living with AIDS at the time. Many of them also, they had AIDS and they're raising children while carrying this enormous amount of shame. And I remember how hard it was for them at the time. And it was hard for them in particular to look into the mirror. They didn't just see a reflection. They saw every single judgment that had ever been projected onto them, every label, every loss, every lie. And yet, even in those moments, something extraordinary could happen. A hand would reach for the mirror, a voice would whisper something kind, and just like that, a tiny crack would appear. You know, where there was shame, there would be a tiny crack in that shame. You see, that's how healing can begin. Not with a perfect affirmation, not with a spiritual high, but with a small, brave sentence like, I deserve more than this. Or looking in the mirror and telling yourself, you deserve more than this. Or you look into the mirror, you could say, maybe I'm not as unlovable as I thought. You see, when we often present mirror work as though it's easy, but it isn't always easy. Sometimes it's excruciating because, as Louise taught us, the bottom line for everybody she had worked with is that they don't really feel great about themselves. They don't feel good about themselves. So tonight, if the mirror feels hard, just know it's difficult for many people. You're not alone. And if your inner dialogue hasn't been building a good house, if your words have been working against you instead of for you, this is not the end of your story. I had an attorney friend who used to say, the final chapter has not been written. It hasn't. This is not the end of your story. Our teaching tells us you are cause of your own experience. You're cause to your own experience. And if you can learn to change the language if you can see yourself anew in a new light, if you can proclaim the truth, even with a whisper, life is going to respond to you. Your word is your wand, so let's use it to create something holy. Let's use our words, our thoughts to create something beautiful. And now let's take a moment to embody everything we've talked about today. Let's not just talk about the power of words. Let's speak them. Let's see if we can feel them. Let these words move through us. I don't need you to type anything in the chat. You don't need to shout anything. You don't even need to believe every word just yet. But if you're in a space where you can speak aloud or say to yourself, I invite you to join with me now, and take a breath in and out, and let these affirmations settle into your body. Let them carry a new tone, one of love, kindness, and strength. Repeat after me in your own voice to yourself. My words matter. My words matter. I speak with kindness and intention. I speak with kindness and attention. I'm learning to talk to myself with love. I'm learning to talk to myself with love. Even if I don't believe it, I'm open to believing. And the way I speak to myself creates the life I live. I release everything. I release the voice of the past. I now choose words that build me up. I now choose words that build me up. I speak healing over my body. I speak peace into my day. I speak love into my future. So let's take a deep breath all together. Let the words we just spoke, the words we just affirmed, settle gently inside of us. This isn't about putting on any kind of a show. This isn't about saying the right thing to make something happen either. Something much simpler. It's a quiet choice that we're making right now to speak with love, to speak with truth, to speak with an intention, to speak as though we know life is listening to us, because it is. So I want you to all go inward now. If you're comfortable, you close your eyes. If you're in a safe place to do so, just allow yourself to be comfortable. I like to lift my shoulders and relax them. Let your jaw unclench. Feel safe again. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. And again, feel the rhythm of your breath anchoring you in this moment. Know that you're safe, you're supported, and that you've arrived in this sacred space. Now imagine this. You're walking down a quiet stone path. At the end of the path is a beautiful temple. It's calm, it's open, it's glowing in the golden light. This is the temple of sacred words. And as you step inside, the walls are filled with phrases, not painted, but glowing as if written in light. Kind words, gentle truths, healing affirmations. You recognize some of them immediately. Others feel new. They're not loud. They're peaceful, steady, and clear. And in the center of this temple is a mirror. But this time, as you walk towards it, you're not afraid. You're curious. You're standing in front of it, and you see not just your reflection, but your soul self. You notice that your soul self is looking back at you. The one who remembers who you really are, the one who remembers who you have always been. So place your hand over your heart now and let your breath be steady. And let yourself say, silently or aloud, any of these phrases that resonate. I see you. I'm listening now. You're allowed to heal. You are not your past. You are worthy of loving words. And breathe those words in. Breathe those affirmations in. And let the mirror fade away now. And feel that light, the light of every kind word ever spoken to you. Every word that you've ever heard that's been kind. Feel them, bring them in. Every loving word ever whispered to yourself. Feel them all gathering inside of you. And let it all fill your chest and surround your heart. And now, quietly, repeat after me. I am building something beautiful with my words. I'm building something beautiful with my words. I'm speaking myself into freedom. I'm loved and I am becoming. I'm speaking myself into freedom. So let that truth settle in your being now. And let's take one more breath. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes, return back to our gathering, back to this moment, refreshed, centered, deeply connected, connected to the voice of your own healing. Let's take one more breath together, gently returning to the moment, knowing something within us has shifted a bit, maybe just in a small way, possibly in a big way. We've spoken words of love tonight, and every time we speak with kindness, every time we shift our tone, we're building something better. And before we open the floor this evening for sharing, let's seal this time with a short affirmative prayer. I recognize and I know that there is one presence, one energy right here and right now. I recognize this beautiful power, this presence of life flowing through every word I speak. There is only one source, one energy, one voice of truth, and it expresses in me and through me now. I'm no longer trapped by old stories, old language. I'm free to speak healing. I'm free to come from connection. I'm free to speak love. I'm free to speak peace into my world, into my body, my mind, my heart. I know that something good has already begun within me tonight, and I trust it. I trust that it will continue to unfold in clarity, in grace, and in deeper self-love. I let it be so, and so it is. So now, I want to thank you, first of all, for being here, every one of you. We're going to turn the cameras over to you. If you're new, please say hello. Let us welcome you. We have a minute or two for everyone who wants to share. This is your time after you've reflected to share whatever has come up, to be seen, to be heard. So once again, thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you. So it is.